Today I'm so excited because I will share with you my Cozy Shabbat Prep with all my favorite Shabbat recipes filled with comfort food, including the recipes for the meat, the Dafina, fish, salads, dessert, as well as a cute individual challah and a beautiful tablescape. While I prepare these Shabbat meals with you, I will answer your questions, including some very personal one about being a Sephardic Orthodox Jewish mom, a doctor, a YouTuber, as well as how I met my husband, in how many days we got married from the time we met, and I think the answer will surprise you. I will also answer one of the most requested questions, which is how the war in Israel is affecting us as an Orthodox Sephardic Jewish family, and so many more of your questions. So whether you are taking a break and watching the video, cooking with me, or putting me in the background while you are doing something else, know that I'm excited to spend some time with you. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Sara Malka, and on my channel, I share all facets of my Orthodox Sephardic Jewish life as a full-time working mom with small kiddos. So please don't forget to leave this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Let me put on a pretty tichel, and let's jump into it. Today is so special because my Friday clinic was cancelled due to low staffing, so I'm home at noon, which is an absolute dream to do my Shabbat prep in a slow, meaningful, and peaceful way. I start my Cozy Shabbat prep by feeding the birds. My family and I love to feed these amazing animals. They give us so much pleasure when they come and eat from the food we prepare for them. I feel that any activity that is started with a good deed, here by feeding the animals before us, sets the tone for a fantastic activity filled with good intentions and hopefully amazing results, God willing. Next, I set the ambience. I light a scented candle to put me in the best of mood. I don't know about you, but scents really can enhance my mood. Anything with vanilla is a winner for me. I use these fancy long matches. I love them because not only they are long, but they light with a delay, which makes them almost magical. Once I have taken care of the ambience, I prepare my cozy mocktail. In a large glass, I add my golden peach seltzer, which tastes like baked peach tart. It's absolutely delicious. I add some ice, some slices of apples. I like to add 2 or 3 slices of apples because I will eat them as I drink my drink. Then I add a stick of cinnamon. For me, this mocktail is not only stunning, it is delicious too. And while I prepared my drink, I hope you prepared yourself a little drink too. And I would love to know, what is your favorite fancy drink? Let me know in the comments below. Once I have set the scene, let's start the Shabbat prep. I start with what takes the longest to cook or bake. This is why I will start with my 4 cooked salads that I will cook at the same time to save time. In a pot, I put some water with 2 tablespoons of salt and I bring it to a boil. I cut a lemon that I will use in the carrot salad as well as in the fish. Because I will cook the lemons with their peels on, I use organic lemons. I make sure to brush them as many times some scale insects live on the surface of the lemon and citrus family in general. I cut the lemon in slices, trying to make them as regular as possible. The 2 extremities and the not so beautiful slices will go in the pot of water we just put on the stovetop. I peel my carrots and I use my favorite peeler from Tool Swiss, and I cannot tell you enough how important tools make any prep or even any activities that much smoother. When I peel anything with this peeler, it literally glides on the surface. I absolutely love it, and I will leave the link to this peeler in the description box below because I love sharing things that will simplify your life. On this channel, there's no gatekeeping. While I'm peeling and then cutting the carrots in rondelles or medium slices, let me answer one of your questions. What language do I speak, and why do I speak so many languages? Well, as you know, I speak 7 languages, and they are French, English, Spanish, Italian, German, Yiddish, and Alsatian. And the reason why I'm speaking these languages is one, because I was born in Europe where it is normal to speak 3 languages or more, and also my father, due to his position, had to travel a lot, so we have been moving quite a bit since I was young, and later on in my life when I was traveling a lot and working with Doctors Without Borders, I learned a few other languages during these time too. I put the cut carrots aside, and then I will put in a pot 2 cans of diced tomatoes. Sometimes I will peel the tomatoes and do everything from scratch, but today I take the easy route, and God knows I'm all about making things as easy as possible, and I love that motto. Why make it hard when you can make it simple? I place the pot on the stovetop on medium-high until it boils, and then I will decrease it to medium until there is no more water, making sure to mix our tomato base for our cooked tomato salad or chukchuka once in a while. By now the water is boiling, and I will add the carrots to the water and let them cook for about 7 minutes until fork tender. I place my peeled garlic cloves in a pot for my 3rd cooked salad, a vegetarian garlic butter to spread on hot challah, which is absolutely divine. On a side note, here is the best way I found to peel large quantities of garlic easily. I put the garlic cloves in a bowl, then I crack the garlic cloves and cut them in chunks with my hands. Then I cover the cloves completely with boiling water. I let them sit covered for at least 30 minutes. After that time, the garlic skin comes right off like magic. I cover the peeled cloves with olive oil. The cooked garlic cloves will be used for the garlic butter, and the oil will be reserved to add to our fish. I add some herbe de Provence, and if you don't have herbe de Provence, you can use thyme or leave it plain with only salt. I let the garlic cook for 30 minutes on medium-low until golden or fork tender. On we go to the 4th cooked salad. For our Cozy Shabbat Prep, we will make some cooked beet salad. I start by submerging the beets in salty water. Then I will scrub them to remove all the dirt and gunk found on the surface. I usually use one of these 3 tools, the Scrub Daddy, the Soft Sponge, or the Scrubber, and it is the latter I will use today to clean every nook and cranny of the beets. This beet has a large gash on its surface, and many times the insects can go in the crevices. So to make sure I take out all the gunk and insects, I will remove that part of the beet. And yes, we compost our food scraps. After brushing, washing, and cutting the top of the beets, I take out my favorite cooking tool in my kitchen, my Instant Pot. At first, I was very scared to use the Instant Pot and any type of pressure cooker, but this one is so easy to use. It has a security valve right here, so you cannot open the top when the Instant Pot is pressurized. It cuts your cooking time in half, and it stops by itself. I highly recommend it. I place 3 cups of water in the Instant Pot. Then I put my insert in the pot so the beets do not come in contact with the water. This way I maintain a maximum of flavor. After putting my beets in the steamer, I close the insert to avoid for it to get caught in the lid of the Instant Pot. Then I place the bowl of the Instant Pot in the base, and I will let it cook for about 30 minutes because the beets are quite small, and I will let the steam release naturally. My carrots have been cooking for 7 to 8 minutes. I test their readiness with a fork. If it goes easily in, like this one, the carrots are ready. After draining them, I rinse them in cold water to stop the cooking, and I let them cool off completely in the sieve. Because I want to make this Cozy Shabbat Prep with a lot of comfort food without the fuss, I make a simple chocolate fudge cake. And yes, I use a cake mix because making good comfort food does not need to be complicated. It just needs to be good. While I prepare my cake, let me answer another of your questions. How has the war in Israel affected us even if we are thousands of miles away from the conflict? Because we have family living in Israel and family members in the army, the effects of the war are deeply felt. It is heart-wrenching to know that our family is in constant harm's way and we have no direct means to keep them safe or help them. And on the flip side, even here, where we live thousands of miles away from the conflict, the war has affected our daily life. For example, for our children who are blessed to go to a Jewish school, thank God, the war has translated in them having guards being employed to keep our children safe. Our children now have practice drills so they know what to do if, God forbids, an intruder would come in the school. We do not go alone outside anymore after nightfall. And the ongoing feeling of fear for our family, our friends, and ourselves as recognizable Orthodox Jews is growing. You would think that if the conflict was purely rooted in a war over land, the issue would stay locally in Israel. But unfortunately, this conflict runs much, much deeper and is infused with unfathomable anti-Semitism that we feel every day here in America. These are just a few examples of how our lives were changed in the last few weeks. What can we do at this point, you may ask? Well, we try to fulfill as many commandments as we can, do acts of kindness, and most importantly, we pray to God to protect Israel, to bring back all the hostages safely and unharmed, and to protect the Jewish people. And on a side note, I know, my sweet friends, you have been praying with us for the safety and peace in Israel, and I thank you so much for all your prayers. After taking out my bun cake mold, I grease my pan with my magic anti-stick recipe. It's a simple mixture of flour and margarine, but it works like a charm. I always keep a container of it in my fridge, ready to be used. At first, I add it to the side of the cake mold with my hands. Then, to make sure there is anti-stick mix everywhere, especially on the center of the bun pan where there's always something sticking there, I will use my silicone brush. I add the cake batter, and I don't know about you, but there is something oddly satisfying watching the cake mix create all these ripples, but maybe it's just me. I also add these chocolate melts for extra decadence. I love using them because contrary to the chocolate chips, they do not sink at the bottom of the pan. They just stay suspended wherever you place them, which makes them amazing. I place the bun cake mold on a cookie sheet, and I put everything in my preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 to 50 minutes, and I will check on it periodically. By now, the water in our cooked tomato salad has greatly reduced. I will add some salt and olive oil. I will add also a bit of heat with some hot paprika. I add finally some honey to balance everything. I will let it cook until there is no more water. I continue my Cozy Shabbat Prep with my fish recipe, and I start with the sauce. I cut an onion, of course using my favorite non-crime method, which is to cut my onion on a wet paper towel, and like magic, no tears. I place the onion in a pan and I let them cook until golden. Then I prepare the bell peppers by cutting them 2 ways, just to share with you different cutting techniques to cut bell peppers in strips. While I cut the bell peppers, let me answer another question that many of you asked me. What should you offer if you are invited to an Orthodox Jewish home for a holiday like Hanukkah, for example? The safest presents are store-bought edible items. Kosher wine, parve or non-dairy kosher chocolate, kosher desserts, kosher candies are also welcome. You can also gift flowers. All of them will be happily received and a sure bet. I add to my golden onions some paprika, coriander, but of course you can omit it altogether if you don't like it. I add a bit of salt, then I mix everything. I will finally add my bell peppers, mix them in completely to make sure they are fully coated. Then I will add my tomato paste, some honey, and finally I will add a bit of water. I will mix one last time, and I will cover everything and let it cook on low-medium heat for about 5 minutes. While everything is cooking, let's prep some veggies. As you know, I have been on a health journey for the past few months, and thank God I'm getting healthier. One of the things that I have adopted to lose 20 pounds so far is to eat more veggies. Therefore, every of my meals are accompanied by fresh veggies, including on Shabbat. While I prepare our fresh veggie platter, let me answer another of your questions. Was our marriage arranged, and how many days did it take from the first day we met to our wedding? To answer the first part of your question, yes, we had an arranged marriage through a matchmaker or chatron. And for the second part of the answer, there was a bit more than 2 months between our first date and our wedding. And yes, also, it was a bit fast, even for our community, but I think that when you know, you know. And if you're asking yourself, thank God we have been happily married for more than 15 years. After washing, prepping, and cutting all my veggies, I will set them aside in containers in the fridge, and I will place them in our veggie platter just before Shabbat. By now, the bell peppers for the sauce of our Shabbat fish are nice and soft, and I will reserve a bit of sauce on the side. Then I take my pieces of salmon and I turn them into stuffed Moroccan salmon. I simply tied up 2 pieces of salmon with cooking twine and stuffed them with thinly sliced bell peppers and fake crab. And yes, crab is non-kosher, but this is simply a kosher fish shaped in a crab stick. Once all the stuffed Moroccan salmon medallions are in the pan, I add a bit of the sauce on each medallion. I also add a bit of salt on them. I also add some slices of lemon we cut at the beginning of our Cozy Shabbat Prep to add some color and also to balance the flavors of our fish. Once it's done, I will cook it covered for about 10 minutes on low-medium heat. By now, the cake is ready, so I remove it and let it cool down on a cooling rack. The garlic is ready, and I will let it cool off until it reaches room temperature. Next, I peel baby potatoes for the Dafina or Cholent, and fear not, all the peels will be turned into chips. I add some pre-checked chickpeas to cover the bottom of the pot. I add my meat. Here I'm using beef jarret with bone in. I add my eggs, and the rule of thumb is 1 egg per person. Of course, I will rinse every egg that will go in the Dafina to remove all the gunk and chemical that can be found on their surface. My rule of thumb is to add 1 egg per person in the Dafina. Then I cover the pot and set it aside. Then I prepare my rice and the blé or wheat kernel. In a cooking bag, I will add my rice on one side and my wheat kernel on the other one. In the bag with the wheat kernels, I'm going to start by adding some chicken powder. Then in both bags, I'm going to add some paprika. In the wheat kernel, I'm going to add a bit of kick with some spicy paprika. Then oil in both bags. I add 1.5 cups of water per cup of rice in my bag. I will remove the air. Then I will make a tight knot. I will set it aside. In the bag with the wheat kernels, I have added some honey, some tomato paste. I also added 3 cups of water per cup of wheat kernel. Once again, I mix everything. I remove the air to avoid for the bag to explode during the cooking time. I make a tight knot, and I will take the bag of rice and put it on top of the pot with the potatoes and chickpeas. I will take the bag of wheat kernel and I will put it in a mini crock pot. I cover the bag with water. I will let it cook on low heat until we're ready to eat it for Shabbat lunch. I make my spice slurry with curcuma, paprika, garlic, cumin, salt, honey, tomato paste mixed with a little bit of date syrup. I finally add a bit of water, then I will mix everything until fully combined. I pour my spice slurry on the bag and on the meat of our Dafina, then cover everything with water, filling up the pot all the way up to 1 inch from the top. I will place the Dafina on the stovetop on high and I will let it come to a boil, then decrease the heat to medium-low and I will let it cook covered with a splash guard for an hour and a half. The fish is ready and I will set it aside. The cake has cooled down enough so I can unmold it, and as you can see, it comes right out like a charm. I will let it cool down completely and store it in a bag in the mold until we are ready to eat it on Shabbat with some homemade ice cream. By now the beets are cooked too. I will drain them completely and let them cool off in a sieve. Our favorite comfort food, as per meat, is gonna be a good roast. I simply place it in the Instant Pot, cover it with water, then set it for 1 hour until fully cooked. While everything is cooking, the children are all coming back early from school on Friday afternoon to prepare for Shabbat. They will all do their chores for Shabbat, and for Leah, she will help by setting a very special Cozy Shabbat Table. She uses 2 special placemats to give some dimension. Then she adds the chargers. Next, the plates. Because as Orthodox Jews, we do not mix meat and fish in our plates, nor in the same dish, we will have 2 plates. The large one will be there for us to eat our meat meal, and the smaller one will be there for us to eat our salads and fish. The same holds true for our cutlery. We will have 1 large fork and 1 small fork. The large fork will be there for the meat, and the knife will also be used for the meat, and the small forks are going to be used for the fish and the salads. Leah adds the special glasses with our initial on it. She adds the challah board, the challah cover, the salt, the Kiddush cup. She adds so much character to the Shabbat table with her special folded napkins. On top of them, she will add our special pumpkin-shaped challah. She will add some decorations and she will start to add all the salads to the table. She starts with the veggie platter. Then she will add the cooked salads. She adds the chouchouka or salade cuite. Then she adds a beautiful jalapeno dip as well as pickled vegetables. Both were store-bought. And in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with buying store-bought salads even for Shabbat. Naomi brings the second set of cooked salad with the garlic butter, the cooked carrots, and finally she adds the cooked beets. I didn't want to bore you with the details of the sauces. Of course, I left everything in the description box below with all the recipes. For the garlic butter, the only trick was to emulsify the garlic with an immersion blender. After a quick cleanup of the house and taking a long shower, everything had time to fully cook. Therefore, I put my challah in the warming drawer. The rest of the food is on the plata or hot plate, and as you can see, our side will be mashed potatoes, and I didn't want to insult you and show you how to make mashed potatoes. Then we have the dafina, we have also the roast, and finally we have our Shabbat fish. While we are seeing the final overview of Leah's Shabbat table, I hope you enjoyed this Cozy Shabbat Prep and Q&A. I really wanted for you to feel like we were together in my kitchen, cooking and chatting. This second Q&A was a long time coming. At the same time, it was the perfect moment as we are celebrating 2 major milestones for the FrumituP family. We have grown to more than 85,000 family members, thank God, and we are now celebrating more than 9 million views. In a nutshell, we have tripled in members and views in less than a year, thanks to God and you. I say it every day, and I repeat it to you in every video. But really, thank you for being here. It means the world to me. Know that in my book, you are a true friend who stayed by my side through thick and thin, and my world would not be the same without you. If you're here until the end, please write in the comments. I love to spend some time with you, so I know I was not alone. And if nobody told you today, know that you are loved and you are enough just the way you are. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and don't forget to frum it up.
Can hear every note that my heart sings, like a choir of bells, how they all